Hi my friends, welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining me. Today's video is going to be about how I relate with these passengers I have in my life called anxiety and depression, and how I come out of the fog with both of them. So picture this. You're laying in your bed, you're scrolling through social media. It's probably been a couple hours. You're pretty sweaty, your adrenaline's going, your dishes are piled up, they've got grime on them, your hygiene's just out the window. You a stinker. You've replaced your dinner with a whole bag of Trader Joe's popcorn, or you haven't eaten at all. We've all been there. So if this is you, then this video is for you. Okay, so first thing you're gonna wanna do is, well, you could do these things. Listen, I'm not sharing from, oh, I know everything. I'm just sharing from, hey, this is what I do when I'm feeling like dog shit, okay? So you're laying in bed, right? First thing I do is I pose this question to myself. Where am I being unkind to myself? Because 9 times out of 10, I'm probably in that bed and I'm probably not moving and feeling really sad because of something I'm being unkind to myself about. Listen, I didn't get there from being nice and warm and fuzzy to myself. It's definitely some inner violence. So that's the first thing. Where am I being unkind to myself? And how can I offer myself compassion? Now, you can either pose this question to yourself in your head, or what I love to do is journal. I know, you probably heard it. You don't need to hear it again. Yeah, whip out that journal. Oh, please stop with your mental health stuff. But honestly, if I'm really feeling shitty, I just let it all come out through the page. I call it taking out the trash. And there's 2 questions you can ask yourself on the page, or you don't have to journal. No one's making you. One question I ask myself sometimes is, if I'm struggling, God, universe, whatever it is that you connect to, what would you have me know in this moment? And then listen. And then just let your hand write the answer. Now, I didn't make this up. I got this from the badass creativity writer person extraordinaire, Liz Gilbert, who is amazing, by the way. But listening is key there. Now, to really let this in, the answers that come with that, you got to be connecting to a little bit of magic in your life, or at least open to it. If that's not your thing, then, this channel is probably not for you. Because this life is a mystery, and the unexplainable happens every day. Okay, so moving on. Another question you could pose yourself, either in the journal or just out loud, is, what would compassion say? What would compassion say? And again, with this one, listening is really important, and letting those words come to you. I find that exactly what I need to hear will just pour out onto the page. I always find that after I'm done journaling, I usually feel lighter, just able to show up more clear in my life. Secondly, okay, so this is important because your answer is going to be unique to you, and it's unique to everyone. What makes you come alive? What makes you get lost or lose yourself, the self? For me, it's guitar. I love sitting there learning new strumming patterns because I'm not thinking about what happened yesterday or what's happening tomorrow. I'm fully immersed in the moment, and I just let fascination take me. So for you, it might be gardening, painting, anything like that. My third tip is a recent one. My new obsession is going on walks, because as someone who is in recovery for disordered eating, it feels like the kindest version of exercise that gets me moving my body, bringing all the energy from out of here into my limbs. Every time I get back from a walk, especially if it's in nature, I feel like my whole life is doused in magic. And it's just like, what is happening? How are all these synchronicities happening? It's beautiful. Now, the next tip is reaching out to a friend. Whoa. Okay, I know you've probably heard it on all your little Instagram graphics. Reach out to someone, get a therapist. And for you fellow introverts out there, you might be thinking, absolutely not. Connect with a friend. That's terrifying for introverts. Don't say that. Don't ever say that again. And I get it. I totally get it. That's why some of the things in this video you can do alone. You don't have to do anything that you're not comfortable with. As someone who has grown increasingly introverted since doing inner work, lately I'm starting to realize how important it is for my mental health, and how it's like basically sitting down to journal 10 times after connecting with someone over the phone or in person, doing enjoyable things. And a key part of this I want to mention is, we all know that there's some people you can hang out with and you feel really shitty afterwards. It's really important to connect with those people who believe in you and encourage you, and when you get home you feel just full in your heart and whole, all of that warm and fuzzy stuff. Ask yourself, does this person make me feel warm and fuzzy? No? Okay, then maybe, especially when you're in a dark time, maybe they're not the person to talk to. Instead, you find someone else. Look, I know rejection is hard, but you know what's harder? Doing this crazy life alone. So make sure you connect with people that feel good to your soul. The next thing I want to say is do less. And I really mean that, because sometimes it can make it a lot worse if you're just putting more new habits on your plate that you're trying to commit to and do it all. A few months ago, I had one of those surge of, I'm going to turn my life around. And I decided to add a billion things to my plate. And you know what it did? It actually made me beat myself up more, because I wasn't able to spin all the plates. I wasn't able to do it all. So I had a great intention, but it ended up backfiring, and I got COVID. And so that was a really good learning experience for me. And after that, after talking with a friend and sitting with what would help me, I ended up taking a ton of stuff off my plate and starting really small. You want to know why? Because this way you're not setting yourself up to fail. And if you fall off, you're not beating yourself up for meeting this giant expectation, which was actually a vehicle to punish yourself from the beginning. So for example, I had on my list, go for this really extravagant long walk, because I just thought I would just wake up and just be able to do this every day. I ended up really shortening that. It's like, okay, well maybe I'll just walk to the end of the street every day. And doing less ended up doing a lot more for my mental health than I thought it would. And that brings me to my next point. Start really small. If I'm literally feeling like I can't manage any of these things, I break it down really fucking tiny. Like, I'm talking really tiny, almost unnoticeable, because we've all got that inner child inside of us that's like, no, I don't want to do anything. And then we've got the manager that's like, we need to do all the things. and you should do this, and you should be this. All the mind chatter. When this inner child tantrum happens, you welcome it with open arms, and you say, oh, honey, I hear you. I see you. And how about if we don't do all of our laundry? We just pick one piece of clothing off the floor. Oh, you don't want to make a meal? Okay, well, what if we cut one strawberry? These little shifts can make all the difference. And that manager self, we can just ask them to step back like, hey, I really get at one point in my life, maybe I needed you to stay safe, but violence doesn't work anymore. So just let that little one know that you love them, that you're there for them. And in small ways, we can move towards more compassion for ourselves and lifting from the fog. And you'll thank yourself for it. And remember, we're all doing our best out here. So anytime you hear that go, go, go voice, I'm falling behind, just remember the society that we are brought up in, and our true nature is slow, is joyful, is compassionate, is clear. And that's all I'm going to say today. Be kind to yourself, and sending you all my love, my peace and love. I think that's it. I think that's gotta be it. That's gotta be it for today.